Good morning, Emerson. A Minnesota police officer has been charged with the fatal shooting of Philando Castile.
And the Kansas-Duke game ended dramatically. We'll be showing you all the highlights.
All that and more today, Thursday, November 17th. I'm Sean Stackhouse.
And I'm Claire Gomes. Today, we'll be showing you what electronics to be looking for on Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
And we'll be joined by Emerson Urban Dance Theater to talk about their upcoming show, Misfortune. A Minnesota police officer has been charged with manslaughter for the fatal shooting of Philando Castile. Ramsey County Attorney John Choi's office charged St. Anthony police officer Geronimo Yanez with second-degree manslaughter and multiple counts of dangerous discharge of a firearm. Yanez shot and killed Castile in July at a traffic stop in St. Paul, Minnesota, where the aftermath of the incident was broadcast on Facebook Live. Castile's fiancée recorded the incident, saying that Castile alerted the officer that he was legally carrying a gun, but was later shot when reaching for his license and registration. After the ruling, Castile's family members urged residents not to take to the streets. Claire, this is another case of a police shooting in our country, but where charges were filed here, do you think that this can change the narrative of police brutality in our country?
I definitely think so, and I hope so. I think there'll be less cases of police brutality now that people are seeing that we do hold police to the same level as other citizens as well.
All right, now we go to Moses Small with an update on Trump's appointment of Steve Bannon.
Thanks, Sean and Claire. Here are the developing stories this morning. Donald Trump's pick for his chief strategist is stirring up controversy in Washington. Steve Bannon is the former CEO of Breitbart News. He's facing backlash from members of the House and the Senate for his ties to alleged hate groups. More than 150 members of the House are calling for Bannon to step down, and Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid had some comments on Bannon's appointment. Let's take a look.
By placing a champion of white supremacists a step away from the Oval Office, what message does Trump send to the young girl who woke up Wednesday morning in Rhode Island afraid to be a woman of color in America? It's not a message of healing. If Trump is serious about seeking unity, the first thing he should do is rescind his appointment of Steve Bannon.
Presidential appointees don't require approval from Congress, but his pick is certainly seen as controversial. Police shut down the Will Rogers Airport in Oklahoma after an airline employee was ambushed by a gunman. 52-year-old Michael Winchester was shot and killed in the airport's parking lot. Authorities say it was a premeditated attack. After the shooting, the assailant was found nearby, having shot himself as well. Police are investigating, but haven't yet found a motive, and flights at this airport are delayed until more information comes forward. Smoke on the T caused a delay on the Red Line on Tuesday. MBTA officials say the smoke came from a small trash fire on the tracks. This caused setbacks across the Red Line, but the fire department was able to leave just past 5 p.m. that night. Photos on social media show overly packed trains, and Uber even increased its fare prices when it saw the sudden demand. According to the MBTA site, there are currently no more delays on the Red Line. After a series of water tests, high levels of lead were found in Massachusetts public schools. Out of the 300 schools tested by clean water officials, 160 had lead readings above the state limit. Some were in the metro area, such as Ward Elementary in Newton and Haley Elementary here in the city, and most of the samples were drinking fountains and cafeterias. These tests were part of a $2 million initiative to make sure water in public schools is safe, especially after the water crisis in Flint, Michigan. No students have been affected, and schools are taking steps to reduce lead exposure, and they're acting quickly. The Clean Water Group says that lead should be down to acceptable levels by the time parents hear of their school's results. That's all in the news I have for you this morning. Sean and Claire, back to you.
Thanks, Moses. Now, with high lead levels being found in schools in Massachusetts, do you think other states are going to be stepping up their water testing levels and making sure that their water is safe as well?
I think so. After the events in Flint, Michigan, I think the whole country is on a bit of a high alert, and that's really the event that inspired what happened in Massachusetts, and I'm sure more state to come.
Perfect. Thanks, Moses. And now for our weather report. Today is going to be absolutely gorgeous with a high of 57 and sunny skies. It'll be clear tonight with a low of 42. Tomorrow is going to be beautiful again with a high of 58 and a low of 43 later in the evening. Saturday is going to have just a 20% chance of showers in the late afternoon, leading to a 60% chance of rain on Sunday and a high of 52. Monday will bring some cooler temperatures with a high of 45. Sean, looks like this is our last real week of nice fall weather before the real winter comes. Are you ready?
I don't know if I'm ready. I was talking to my parents a few days ago, and they were telling me that they've already seen a few flurries in New Hampshire, so I'm not looking forward to going back over Thanksgiving.
Well, it's coming whether you're ready or not. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I'll be sitting down with Emerson Urban Dance Theater.
And on the roundtable, we'll be discussing the role that fake viral news played during the election. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Good Morning Emerson. I'm joined today by Katie Langton from EUDT. Hi, Katie. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course.
So tell us about EUDT.
So EUDT is Emerson Urban Dance Theater, and it focuses on hip hop and tap with a bit of contemporary, and it's just a show that we work on all semester to put on at the end of the semester.
So tell us about the show that's coming up this Saturday.
The show is called Miss Fortune. It's about an experienced fortune teller who inspires an amateur fortune teller to try out her skills, but then things start to go wrong.
That sounds awesome. How do you guys come up with these themes for the shows? I see them every year and they always look really cool. So how do you guys come up with them?
So we have an artistic board who will meet up after the shows before the next semester auditions, and we kind of just sit down and hash out a bunch of ideas and eventually come up with something solid.
Nice. And how did you get involved in EUDT?
I got involved just because I love dancing, and I heard about Emerson Urban Dance Theater, so I auditioned 3 semesters ago. I've been part of it for 3 semesters now, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah, and as someone who's been in it for 3 semesters, are you more involved? What's your position in EUDT?
So I'm actually assistant hip hop director, so Paula Aruda is the hip hop director, and I kind of just help her out and follow her and work with the hip hop company.
And tell us about the role of hip hop director and assistant director. What do you guys do to help out the show?
So we both are choreographers for the show, along with a lot of other choreographers, and we kind of make sure that all of the members are understanding the choreography in the show and they're doing all right and that everybody's having fun.
Because that's the most important part, is having fun.
Definitely.
Tell us about more the choreographing and how you pick the choreographers for the show.
So it's the same kind of process as picking the theme of the show. We have an artistic board that will meet up, and choreographers will apply, and then we talk about them and figure out who we want to do each piece, because we have a set number of pieces that we usually do for each show. And then they get to work on their piece for about a few weeks, a few rehearsals, and yeah.
So I know the EDC, the Emerson Dance Company show, is tonight,
Yeah.
and your guys' show is on Saturday.
Yes.
Tell us about the show on Saturday real quick. What are the times? Where is it?
Yeah, it's Saturday. It's in the Semmel Theater, so in Tufty, and there's a 6 o'clock show and an 8 o'clock show.
Okay. And what makes EDC different from EUDT?
I think that both companies are incredible. EDC is very much, if you're used to dancing studio dance like a recital, it's kind of like that. There are a lot more options of styles that you can do, whereas EUDT, it's very focused on hip hop and tap, and also very focused on creating a story. So, you know, we like to basically create a play to watch while we're also dancing.
Yeah, I know last year you had Tommaso de Blasi doing the whole narrative line,
Yeah.
and he was great. I'm super excited to see the show on Saturday, so good luck to all you dancers.
Thank you.
We have to take it back to Augie Vandeveer with all our sports updates.
Thanks, y'all. Here's what's happening in the world of sports. Kansas and Duke ended with some dramatics Tuesday night. Let's take a look at some highlights. Duke's Luke Kennard starts off with the block, then shows off the ball handling, driving into the lane and kicking it out to Matt Jones for some sweet string music. Then again, Kennard creating this time for an open 3 for Frank Jackson, who knocks it down with the foul. And Kennard again creating, this time tying up the game with a 3-point shot, capping off a 7-0 run to tie it at 20 seconds left. Let's take another look. Kennard driving in. No reason for the help defense to get off the shooter, but they pay for their mistakes. Kansas, although, would have with the last laugh with Frank Mason III dribbling in and hitting the monster of a pull-up jumper at the elbow to win it. Duke takes it 77-75. Sixer big man and former Kansas phenom Joel Embiid tweeted at former Duke great Jahlil Okafor after game, "Hold this loss, cuz." And it appears Jahlil lost a bit of a friendly wager with Embiid posting a picture of Oak with a Kansas hat on. We all win when Joel is happy. Phil Jackson, habitual line crosser, received some pushback from LeBron and his business partners for describing them as a posse. In an interview with ESPN's Jackie McMullen, Jackson mentioned instances during James's Heat tenure where LeBron wanted to stay an extra night in Cleveland. He admonished James and Coach Spoelstra for allowing this to happen, saying, "You can't hold up the whole team because you, your mom, and your posse want to spend an extra night in Cleveland." James and his business partner responded, questioning Jackson's description of James' inner circle as a posse. James' business associate Maverick Carter said, "It's the word posse and the characterization I take offense to." Carter continued, "Because you're young and black, he can use that word." James responded similarly, saying, "It just sucks that now, having one of the biggest businesses on and off the court, having a certified agent in Rich Paul, having a certified business partner in Maverick Carter, that the title for young African Americans is the word posse." Jackson has cryptically responded to the criticism by retweeting a link to the Posse Foundation, which organizes high school children with high academic leadership potential into multicultural groups and seeks to get the students four-year scholarships. So maybe Jackson was just implying that LeBron is a highly intelligent high schooler? Or maybe he, like many people on Twitter, don't understand how to respond to someone when they tell them they're being offensive. But really, this is just a distraction from the misery of Jackson's Knicks tenure and his utter ineptitude at building a team. So, moving on. Brady has jokes for Deflategate in his new Foot Locker commercial.
Week of Greatness brought it again for the 5th year.
How is it possible it keeps getting better even after all these years?
Kind of makes you wonder what Foot Locker is up to.
You know, that's an unfortunate mindset you got there.
Tom Brady.
Just because something's great year after year doesn't mean anything's going on. Why can't some things just be great?
Just a question.
It starts with questions, and then questions turn into assumptions, and then assumptions turn into vacations. So why would you punish the Week of Greatness for something that never even happened? I lost my appetite.
Good stuff. It's good to see he's kept a humor about the suspension. Tony Romo, while in the darkest place of his career, is maintaining that he supports Dak Prescott's continuing to start for the Cowboys. Let's hear it in his own words.
When you feel like you have the best team you've ever had, was a soul-crushing moment for me. And through it all, you have a tremendous amount of guilt on having let your teammates, fans, and organization down. Seasons are fleeting. Games become more precious. Chances for success diminish. Your potential successor has arrived. It's a dark place. Probably the darkest it's ever been. You're sad and down and out, and you ask yourself, why did this have to happen? Dak Prescott. And what he's done. He's earned the right to be our quarterback.
So he's taking it about as well as your childhood dog running off, but he's got enough sense to recognize Dak as the future of the franchise. Hopefully another franchise takes a chance on him, having a mini Peyton Manning late career surge and gets him out of this funk. And that's all there is from sports. Back to y'all, Sean and Claire.
Thanks, Augie. We now go to health and fitness reporter Mary Malloy with some tricks for clearer and healthier skin.
Hello, my name is Mary Malloy, and I'm the health and fitness correspondent for Good Morning Emerson. And today I am teaching you how to make DIY face masks and lip scrubs. Lip scrubs are great. They're so easy to make, but retailers like to make them pretty pricey. So I am teaching you a 2-ingredient easy lip scrub. All you'll need is honey and sugar. So all you're going to do is take a few packets of sugar. You can use white sugar, brown sugar, whichever kind of sugar you'd like. Add just a small bit at first because you do want the lip scrub to be gritty so it takes off all the dead skin. If you put too much honey in, then you're just going to have to put more sugar in. Although it looks like you can just eat it, I'm sure you could. It's perfect for your lips. So just put a little bit on my finger at first. And then just go into it. Moving on to a soothing oatmeal face mask. This is great if you have dry skin or if you're dealing with a breakout. It's really great, it's hydrating, and honestly, it'll just make your skin feel absolutely amazing. This can be used on your arms or legs if you have eczema patches, or really anywhere you like. It's very simple to make. All you need is instant oatmeal, some plain yogurt that's not sweetened, some cucumbers for your eyes, of course, and some green tea. This has been steeping in hot water for about 2 minutes. We're gonna let that set a little bit. While we get that, we're gonna do some oatmeal. Honestly, just eyeball it. I would use about half a cup of oats, a half a cup of non-fat, non-sweetened yogurt, a little bit more. It's okay. And now, the tea. Just mix it up and let that sit for a while the oatmeal absorbs all of the liquid. And then you can just put it on your face. Perfect. So here we go. This face mask is really great. It's going to soothe your very agitated skin, especially after midterms. It will make sure that it clears up, it will hydrate your skin, and honestly, if you have any rough patches or eczema patches, it will really reduce the texture of your skin as well. And you can let it sit on your face for 5 to 10 minutes. You can leave it longer if you have trouble areas. Other than that, you can wash it off and good to go. That's it. That is an easy DIY lip scrub and face mask that you can do right here at Emerson. Again, I am Mary Malloy. I'm the fitness and health correspondent for Good Morning Emerson. Back to you in the studio.
This election season has seen a lot of article sharing and sending on Facebook, perhaps more than any election before.
Exactly. This year, however, there has been a remarkable amount of biased and inaccurate news shared on social media. So, for Roundtable today, we'll be discussing the role that this played in the election. We'll start with you, Moses. Were you seeing a lot of this on your Facebook timeline?
I was definitely seeing a lot of this. It's what happens when you have something with such strong opinions flying around. And when you have the sensationalist title, those are things people gravitate to. So it's really easy to see those, reshared.
I agree. And it's hard on Facebook when it gives you the little preview of the article and it just says the headline and doesn't really give any other information. Those can be really clickbaity, very misleading titles. Augie, what's the most ridiculous headline you saw this election season?
I actually saw one that said, CIA confirms report of extraordinary humans able to do impossible things, and it had a floating monk. And I was like, I don't know if this is the most accurate news source. But yeah, it can get pretty ridiculous out on social media.
And there were a lot of ridiculous articles that were shared that were directly related to the election. And what's interesting was it wasn't only from one side. Both of the candidates had articles shared about them.
Yeah, absolutely. With so much of our discourse happening on social media, there really needs to be a greater emphasis on sifting through and finding accurate, credible news sources so we don't learn about superheroes hiding in our midst.
Yes, and I know I saw that picture of Donald Trump, and there was a quote that he said in an interview with Time magazine saying that Republicans are dumb and that if he ever ran for president, he would run under the Republican Party, but it was later proved that he never said that. Moses, what do you think? Do you think Facebook should be doing more if they see that something so popular is false?
I think so. It's a very tricky thing because there's a difference between bias and just straight misinformation. Because a lot of the stories you see from sites like End the Feds are clearly going to be false. But then sometimes there's bias, and that's just the character of the news network. So it is a tricky position for Facebook.
Where we are seeing so many articles shared that do have a clear bias. Augie, what do you think the role should be for news publications like the New York Times and the Washington Post going forward?
Well, I think opinions and biases they're okay in certain contexts. Opinions and editorials make sense, but when you're popularizing just absolute fake news, like Alex Jones has received a lot of exposure from this election. He's a complete crackpot. He is reported on man fishes being held in tanks in Britain, and he's said that Sandy Hook is fake. This is a ridiculous person spreading outright lies who's been promoted through this election, specifically through Trump. And but Facebook needs to take a strong stance and start regulating some of the news that's coming into its site.
And some of the issues that we saw were candidates actually embracing some of this fake news. There was an interview on the O'Reilly Factor with Donald Trump where he was actually citing some of these fake news sources where it's becoming so popular to share fake news. Does this worry you as a future journalist, Moses?
It is a bit worrying only because people want to play into what advantages them, and that's where I think we see some of this, where we have some rhetoric that is clearly untrue, but if it sells, then people are going to try to spread it. So it is a bit worrying in the future. I see it as journalistic responsibility to sift through that and tell people what's actually going on.
Exactly. Glad we have journalists like you leading our future, Moses. We have to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, find out who has been named the sexiest man alive.
Hint, it wasn't me. And tech correspondent Jack Dodge will be in studio to show us some of the best gadgets that we can grab off the shelves on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Welcome back to Good Morning Emerson.
Ruby Vishnik is in studio with all things entertainment.
Thanks, Sean and Claire. Here's the update on the entertainment world. Dwayne Johnson is People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive for 2016. The pro wrestler turned Hollywood film star graces the cover of the magazine's latest issue. Johnson succeeds last year's cover star and honoree David Beckham. Johnson is the first non-white star to earn the title since Denzel Washington in 1996. The actor is very excited about the title. He told the magazine, "I'm not quite too sure where we go from here. I've done it all, this is it." It's no question why Johnson was chosen to be this year's Sexiest Man, from starring in films like Central Intelligence and Disney's upcoming Moana. He also seems like one of the industry's most genuinely down-to-earth stars. The Huffington Post projects that Twitter is not going to make it on Oprah Winfrey's list of favorite things this year. The former talk show host created some controversy last week after Donald Trump's presidential victory. She posted a photo on Twitter of the president-elect meeting President Obama in the White House and captioned the image, "Everybody take a deep breath, #hope lives." Those who were not so keen on Winfrey's optimism in the wake of Trump's victory let their frustration be known in her Twitter mentions. Winfrey has since expanded on her initial tweet and recognized that it was a mistake. She said, "I couldn't breathe after the election, so when I saw them sitting together, I actually took a picture of the screen that said, President-elect Trump honored to meet Obama. And President Obama was so gracious, and I hear Donald Trump say he's a good man." Winfrey admitted that if she could do it again, she would change the hashtag to civility lives instead of hope lives. Between Billy Ray, Miley, and Trace, it was only a matter of time until Noah Cyrus took the stage. The 16-year-old's first single, Make Me Cry, featuring Labyrinth, dropped on Tuesday. Just like her sister, Noah's raspy voice adds an extra emotional element to the breakup song that, as promised, will make you tear up. Noah dabbled in music back in 2009 on the soundtrack for the animated movie Ponyo, but this is her first single since that official release. The Big Bang Theory's Jim Parsons is celebrating his 14th anniversary with his boyfriend. He posted a touching message on Instagram that is bound to earn him some boyfriend points. The actor wrote a lengthy caption alongside a sweet shot of the two performing karaoke while on a date years ago. He began by writing, "I met this guy, the one with the mic, 14 years ago today, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, no contest." He continued to say, "One of his greatest gifts to me is that he no longer takes me to sing karaoke. And also, I believe that this was a selfie with an actual camera, as our phones couldn't do that back then. Oh, how times have changed." I'm Ruby Vishnik, and that's it for entertainment this week. Now back to Sean and Claire at the demo table.
Thanks, Ruby. Joining us now is tech reporter Jack Dodge. Jack, what are we talking about today?
Hey guys, so Black Friday and Cyber Monday have some great deals for you guys, for me, for all of us. And whether you're buying for yourself or for someone else, or you're like recommending that someone get you something, it's a great time for technology. But before we get into this, I just want to let you guys know that there are a lot of scams on Black Friday that you have to watch out for. A lot of companies hike up prices and then discount them at the very last second for these holidays, so like, just beware of that. But I dig deep and find some of the best deals for you guys so you're not getting ripped off. So we all need a good pair of headphones, and Beats, have that brand name. They have, they're expensive and pretty high quality. So the new Beats Studio 2 headphones that are wireless are actually on sale for $145 off of the original price, which is $379 on a website called Premier Hot Deals. It sounds kind of sketchy, but I promise it isn't sketchy. It's like a website that a lot of people use. I've actually gotten some headphones on it before, so don't worry about that. And this is really good because a lot of people who are getting the iPhone 7, which doesn't have the headphone jack, can use this because they have wireless features. So that's going to be a very popular item as the new phones, roll out.
Maybe they could go hand in hand if we're thinking about holiday gift ideas. Just get them together.
Maybe.
Mom, looking at you.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's a great way to get something for your, maybe your techie family member who already has the phones. That could be cool. And Apple is actually not known for, decreasing prices when holidays come around. But Target, who is actually selling the iPad Pros, actually are selling them at a discounted price for Black Friday at $150 off of the original price. Right now, they're $449 on Target instead of the $599, which is a great deal considering that Apple really never decreases prices. So Target's really doing a good thing for all of us out there.
Yeah, Target really helping out. I've had the same iPad since I was in high school. It's a second generation. I still have the old charger. So maybe a new one is in order, especially with this price decrease.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're looking for an even, like way cheaper tablet, the Amazon Fire HD 8 is only $59 on Amazon right now, which is a crazy deal. Granted, it's not quite as powerful and doesn't have quite as much space as the iPad, but if you want to just carry around some books, if you want to use some apps, surf the web or whatever, that can do that for you for only $59. So that's a great deal, and it's on Amazon, so you know that it's a trustworthy seller because they're selling their own products. And Amazon is doing this with a lot of their products, actually. So the Amazon Echo, I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's the new smart speaker. And normally it's $180. Right now it's $139 on Amazon. And it comes paired with Amazon Alexa, which is kind of like Siri, if you guys have heard about it. It's been very praised, and they're saying that it's a better version of Siri. You can talk to it around the house and be like, hey, play this, without an actual remote or anything. It's very high tech. So that's the new thing on the market. And it's great that it's new and being discounted nearly right away, which is awesome.
That's really inexpensive, which is awesome for someone who maybe wants something like this for their dorm or their apartment, but doesn't want to pay that high price.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
exactly.
I'm really excited for all that. Thanks so much for joining us, Jack. We'll be sure to scour those deals this coming week. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for waking up with us.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Tuesday.